As we said earlier, it was a good warning system that saved many lives. But meteorologist Joe Lazora joins us now to tell us about one teenager who may have saved his entire family.
Last 2 weeks we've been covering the Olympics.
3 weeks almost.
Yes. Ken's now going to talk about a sport. I'll be honest, I use a snorkel in a bathtub, so it's not a...
glass of water bothers you, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a sport I relate to much, but I'm going to be interested in hearing about it.
So impressed that Paul McCartney was just so willing to talk to him, and seems to be a great guy.
Certainly want to thank him for that Channel 5 plug.
Yeah, right.
We'll be playing that a couple of times.
Sure.
We all know what impact Paul McCartney has had on shaping the music in our world. Now he's having an impact on saving the environment in the world. During a packed meeting, the Columbia-Tusculum Community Council said it would no longer abide by the agreement which allowed Queen City terminals to bring the poisonous chemical into their community. That after last Thursday's leak of benzene during the very first shipment to the area.
It's not approved by the FAA, but News 5's Laura Randall decided to give it a try anyway. It's called tandem skydiving. In tandem, two jumpers are strapped to each other, sharing one chute.
It broke the record that was set last night by the same artist, Detroit rock and roller Bob Seger. And as Michael Collins reports, it's what Seger doesn't do as much as what he does that's kept him on top.
This isn't just blowing up fireworks, it's putting it together with great music. So if you turn on your radios at WEBN, we're having a simulcast with them. It's FM, we're in stereo. This goes off on history. Those for whom life is no longer a gift but a sentence, imposed not by the courts but by the fates in the guise of failing and often painful health, where recovery is not an option. So unlike the presidential debates, where how the candidates come off is significant in swaying undecided voters, how Quayle, Gore, and Stockdale did tonight doesn't matter a hoot, other than it gave each of them a chance to blast away at the head of the other guy's ticket.
Empty tanks and a willingness to wait. And wait they did in the latest edition of the great radio station Gasoline Wars. Keating is now off the hook in a $1 billion lawsuit stemming from the failure of Keating's Lincoln Savings and Loan. The lawsuit names William Keating.
But of course there is no such public reaction to the notion of abortion, because regardless of your personal view, you must admit most Americans
ready to dissolve his name out, ready to push it on
one. Is yet a person, or abortion is the same thing as killing a born baby.
If we don't find room for Jesse Jackson and the forgotten and alienated Americans he represents, if we chase these folks out of the system, what avenue is left for them to vent their anger?
He is a lobbyist for the trucking people.
Yeah.
When they went on strike, he kind of organized them around the country. He's a hero.
He's been organizing throughout many states and doing a lot of work, and kind of fun to listen to, too. I have to admit.
I like that name, the trucking bozo.
I've listened to him every now and then, you know.
I could be the commentating bozo. Huh?
I would say something about maybe you already are, but then we'd get ourselves in big trouble, wouldn't we? I wouldn't say that.
Rather than going into your chimney. Youngbird says his company and other sweeps have been putting in 7-day work weeks lately. He says in his business, they call it the flu season. Sorry.
I'm Jerry Springer. The world changed, so we shouldn't be surprised that our colleges did too. We'll talk about it. Is striking baseball's national pastime? Commentary tonight. He didn't like his old trench coat anymore, but he needed a new one. But the thought of just throwing away the coat bothered him. After all, it's more than a trench coat.
But there's so little to do, even that councilman with the long hair can draw a crowd.
We had the Mr. America contest, and I was supposed to give a key to the city as the mayor. I took my shirt off.
And he took his shirt.
I'll never do that again.
You'll never do that again. Okay.
Like that.
We'll be back with less of Jerry and more of Riverfest 90 right after this.
Has its ups and downs, and News 5's Jeff Hirsch now tells us of someone who's gone up and down 6,000 times. The president of the local Teamsters Union in Cincinnati in northern Kentucky is warning trucking companies to send trucks out in convoys after midnight on Monday.
The outrage here is, considering the provocation, the length of the suspension. The fact that it was issued without first having a hearing where a piece could be heard. And where, oh, where is the punishment for the umpire? Since when may they hit ball players?
Well, you've seen them advertised in newspaper inserts and on television sets. No, not television sets. You've seen them advertised in these newspaper inserts and on television. Hi.
That's pretty good for Mike.
And he had to have somebody in the back of the alley knocking down all those pins.
Yeah. Well, we're going to work on our bowling this weekend, and you have a very nice vacation.
You're losing what?
So, as I thank you tonight for the Best Anchor honor, as well as for accepting me in this dual role, I also must thank my bosses. First, because they deserve it,
Second, because they may be watching. Some strange things are going on at the most popular country music bars in the area. The people at Bobby Mackey's are getting used to not only playing country music. I tell you what, listening to Glenn Campbell, he was the inspiration why I decided to learn how to play.
Play the guitar and sing?
No, the tuba.
The tuba.
Well, because I heard him play the guitar, and I figured I'm out of my
I've heard you play the guitar and sing, and that's why you should play the tuba.
I can do.
No,
Gentle on my mind.
I love his songs.
But other than disasters, what happens, or what do we do in our daily lives that brings us all together? He's not here, of course, to celebrate his 50th birthday. He wouldn't have been if no one had the chance to see that. And what a beautiful day to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day. You're sitting in, of course, for Norma, who has not had a baby yet.
That's right.
Maybe in a couple days.
Yes, that's what's expected.
Patrick Gerald, is that what it is?
No, Gerald Patrick.
Oh, okay. We're going to fight about Norma's baby's name.
You know, she may have a girl, guys. I hate to tell you, she might have a girl.
Geraldine. I mean,
well, he just read them, and you take it out of context, and
right. Otherwise, people think we're picking on.
Right, we're not.
We're not. It's a very good book, and everybody should read it.
You done? Yeah. Coming up next on News 5.
And so all these things we have alike, the stadium and the river and the bridges and the river boats and the rolling hills and the fountain and our newspapers, except their newspaper is wrong. Of course, they don't know it yet. Pirate fans swear they're #1. So far, 3 Marines have been arrested in that case, but given that, the Pentagon's not taking any chances.
For the Special Olympics. That is, the good thing about it is for a good cause.
Yes, and later on they did go to class.
I think so.
In case their parents are watching. Next on News Channel 5.
Through his second career as a TV anchorman.
8 days ago, the bus drivers went on strike.
Despite no TV experience, Springer's editorials made his station #1.
57 years to the day after Ty Cobb set the all-time hit record, Pete Rose got number 4,192, as he called it, the big knock. That's right, but now in determining whether or not Bart Giamatti can be a fair judge, they are going to talk about the kind of evidence that Bart Giamatti has in front of him and whether or not that was deduced fairly. In that kind of a case, they may have to bring Bart Giamatti to the stand. This is the 4th year that teachers have been honored with a recognition breakfast.
The Skyline Chili Bicentennial fireworks just a few minutes away, and everybody's getting excited for it.
Of course, there's not just excitement in the air, there's also Pat Berry in the air. Well, Pat's exciting too. Pat, where are you?
Yeah, he is.
I'm up here in...
Tonight at 11.
Also tonight, what's the best-selling beer in the country? You might be surprised. And the Queen City welcomes a rock and roll star that's beginning to shine in other areas too. We well know now what she's meant to the kids, but maybe her greatest gift was what she taught us grown-ups. From the homespun simplicity of a noontime television set, that life is best and most meaningful when we take care of each other.
Cincinnati's News 5 tonight.
Good evening. Grim reminders of last week's shuttle tragedy are washed. So over the next hour, we'll explore a variety of topics that you'll find on the ballot tomorrow. Oh, and such an asshole. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and Johnny Bench invited us to participate in the June benefit performance of Damn Yankees. News 5. People make the difference.
We, of course, will be there.
I love those rallies at the high school gym.
That's right.
They have turned me into an absolute hockey fan.
Well, it seems like ever since Lemieux got hurt,
everybody's been coming through.
Yeah,
the main man, Yarmar.
You're getting good at pronouncing that, too.
No, I'm not pronouncing it right, but I'm just going to stick with it.
Yarmar Yarger's not right?
No, it's Yarmir. You're so funny.
Thank you. Well, you guys can compliment each other later. Still ahead. They're creepy and they're kooky. Not talking about Jerry and Greg, but they're not the Addams family.
These little things are actually part of a bug banquet.
More than 100 people gathered to compliment the chef on the wax worms they found smothered in plum sauce. Oh, there goes the midnight snack. The Tonight Show is next, and we'll have updates every hour on the hour throughout the night. Thanks for being with us.
We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourself and each other. Good night.
Good night.